know what constitutes our Constitution? This living document that's a fusion of our forefathers' vision for the future of this nation? We have a Bill of Rights. We're not built for these rights, but we've been given these rights because we live. We don't have to pay every day when we don't watch what we say. A penny for our thoughts is not what we give, but we give off our thoughts by the way that we live. And there are soldiers who've died, men and women who've paid the price, in the blink of an eye given their lives to make our lives nice. And we can't fight to preserve these rights, to reach new heights, get through the darkest nights together if we don't know. We the people, we the future, can't make it right if we don't show an interest in learning the script that governs our lives. So forgive me if I'm wrong, but if you belong to this country, then there are rights that belong to you so long as you do one thing. You know your Constitution and your freedom that it brings. You can't fight for what's right. You can't find a flaw if you've never shed light on the supreme law of the land. The land of the free and the home of the brave requires your knowledge and God's good grace in order to save our human race in the face of terror. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you need to choose what you're going to do because you could lose everything.
If you had something that you were given, something you loved, something that others wanted so badly but were denied it, something that you used and relied on every single day. If you had something special, something beautiful, something powerful, if you had something absolutely essential to securing your health, happiness, and safety, if you treasured something so much that you were willing to die for that something, if you knew that others already had, and if someone had given you a document that protected that something, wouldn't you take the time to read it?
Hey you! Stop and listen. This is a public service announcement with Dakari Chapman. Why should you know your Constitution and why should you know your rights as a U.S. citizen? How would you like it if someone didn't allow your club to meet at your house? I wouldn't, because that's not cool. How would you like to be tried without a jury? I wouldn't, because that's not cool. These things are not cool. Learn your rights as a U.S. citizen so you know what to do in these situations. Thanks for listening, and remember, it's an American thing, so learn it.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, fellow patriots. Welcome, fellow deplorables. Welcome once again to the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Sharron Angle, coming to you from the studios of the Conservative Commandos radio network with a shout out to our listeners in Jacksonville, Tampa, and the Villages, Florida, Las Vegas and Reno, Nevada, Macon, Georgia, Lancaster and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Boulder and Colorado Springs, Colorado, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Long Beach, California, Arlington, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. And now you can see us on the AUN TV network. And as Rick Trader says, we're everywhere. We are everywhere. My co-host today is Melissa Isaacs. Melissa, welcome to the Conservative Commandos radio show.
Thank you, Sharon. It's great to be here. And we got a lot to talk about, a lot of important things to talk about.
Well, start us out.
You know, the coronavirus is really wreaking havoc, whether it be on individual families, whether it be on employment, small businesses. We have a lot of veterans out there, and especially the disabled veterans. They're living off a certain amount of money. Would it be just from maybe $100 up until $3,000, depending on what their rating is. But I don't think we realize how much they rely on outside employment as well. So they might have just their disability, and everything's budgeted out. But something like this happens, and maybe their spouse is out of a job, or maybe they lose the job that they do have. And look, you guys, bills come in regardless of the coronavirus. And that people are saying, oh, but foreclosures were delayed, evictions were delayed. Guys, the bills still rack up. So, we have a lot of people out there who rely on industries that are now shut down. And what do they do? Where do they go? Just because foreclosures are delayed for 90 days doesn't mean that they're still going to have to owe that money. So, certainly everybody wants safety. We don't want anybody to get the coronavirus. But, do a little bit of research. A collapsed economy can have the death rate can actually exceed that of a pandemic. So, it's a balance here, but we really can't forget the people who are out there who are making ends meet, barely making ends meet, or don't have the ability to make ends meet. We got to look out for those people as well. So,
and it seems like it's getting even more crushing. I was 3 weeks ago. I was a little disturbed that my mayor said she was mandating the closure of all non-essential businesses. Well, as you just pointed out, every business is essential because somebody's working there, somebody's bringing home a paycheck, and it's essential to their family to have that paycheck coming in. So how do you decide what's essential and what's non-essential? And in fact, it looks pretty arbitrary to me. Doesn't it to you?
It does, and I'd like to know, I have a business. I pay my business taxes. I pay my employee taxes. And as a private citizen, that's my question is, wait a minute, who are the people making these decisions saying, and they haven't told me I have to shut down. I have a law firm, and of course, we deal with constitutional rights every day. So, and most states have said if it deals with constitutional issues, we haven't been mandated to close yet. Certainly, we're minimizing exposure for the clients and for the employees. But all this closure certainly has affected my business as well. So that's a question I have is, how long can they really do this? We're not under martial law. So, I still have rights. The law still applies. We're not under a sort of military occupation. Military tribunals don't rule the day. So, who's making these decisions and how long are these decisions going to go on? And are they really considering the consequences of everything? And those are answers that none of us have been provided with.
And I think we can see the answers there very plain to me, at least, that it depends upon the political agenda of the official who's making the mandate. So if you live in a state like I do, where the Democrats are in control, those mandates are much more harsh. It seems like, I'm thinking of Governor Cuomo and the mayor of New York, Bill de Blasio. There's no doubt about it that New York's in a fairly precarious situation. However, when they say, if you dare to break our mandate, and they are saying this to churches, First Amendment, right? Mm-hmm. If you dare to break our mandate, not only are you subject to fines and possibly jail time, but we can close your building permanently. What's with that? And then I see governors in Florida, Rick Scott, a Republican, saying, use your own best judgment on this. If you're not coming in contact with a lot of people when you're doing business, what's the problem here? I see these drive-in. We went to Panda Express the other day for lunch, and they don't have a drive-in window. They have places marked out at 6 feet intervals for you to stand to pick up takeout Chinese. You can't sit in the restaurant, but certainly you can walk through that line. And there were lots of people walking through that line. We've become that kind of a society where those restaurants are a place that we frequent quite a bit. And they are truly suffering. Restaurants are really suffering. The service industry, and that's what Nevada is made on, is the service industry is truly suffering. But here's this arbitrary thing again. Brothels are an essential business in Nevada, but you do have to mask up if you're a patron. I find that just incredibly ironic that business would be open. The casinos are closed except for their hotels. They are allowed to keep their hotels open. However, I don't think anybody's really traveling anymore because of the travel bans that have been put on. And of course, people are afraid to travel. My brother won't come and see me. He's not sure he can get home. Once he comes to visit me, can he actually get home. So, we're really kind of stuck in place. And now today, my governor, who banned the use of hydroxychloroquine, banned the use of it, said we can't use that drug here, based on, of course, fake news. But anyway, he issued a mandate today that we're to stay at home. We can't go out unless we have essential business. Now he's not determining just who's not essential, who has a business, but now my business is in question. Am I able to go out if I'm not going for food or a prescription or something he deems to be essential? And we've now got folks like these people in New Jersey got together with their family, and their neighbors reported them, and now they are in jail and being fined for child neglect because there were 6 children at this family gathering. So I don't know, Melissa. I'm just almost overwhelmed with irritation over my constitutional rights. I don't feel like I live in America much anymore.
Well, that's the thing is our fundamental constitutional rights, before the state can infringe upon those, they have to use the least restrictive means possible. Certainly, there's least restrictive means that are possible. You look at, for instance, some of these gun shops. You say, oh, no, we're going to shut down. You're not essential. Well, first of all, you could say, you know what? No more than 10 people in the business at a time. That would work. You know what? You can make appointments. You could say, okay, if you want to purchase a gun here, you have to make an appointment to do it. They could do that. It could stay open. Business could still go on as usual. There could be modified hours. There's a lot of things that could be done. Like, for instance, here, I went into Publix, and they said, I'm sorry, you can't go in until 8 o'clock because between 6 and 8 is our seniors. You have to be 16 and above. Hey, that's fine. That's great because they're blocking out times. Everyone has opportunity, and yet the businesses are still saying, I understand it's a grocery store, but nonetheless, the point is these modifications can be made. So that's the thing is we're dealing with our constitutional rights. Once they're taken away, it's easier for the government to keep them and not give them back under the guise of health and safety and welfare. These are fundamental constitutional rights. These are something that we have to hold the government's feet to the fire and say, wait a minute, before you do this, there's a process in place that you have to follow. You have to follow this process. So that's why, I'm excited to talk to Ronda Kennedy because that's what she's doing. She's essentially holding the government's feet to the fire and say, wait a minute here, there's a process that you didn't follow. So even though the coronavirus, I don't want to downplay it. Certainly it does have, health risks. You guys, it's also a risk to our liberty to just let the government take these individual liberties, take these rights and say, okay, here you go. I'm not exactly sure why you're taking them. I haven't really seen any numbers and I don't know the process, but here you go. We can't do that. We're Americans.
Well, we've got to take a break, Melissa Isaacs. And when we come back, I want you to introduce our guests for today because we've got some great guests, as we always do. I'm Sharron Angle. I'm here with Melissa Isaacs, my co-host, and we're coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios and around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Net Talk America, and AM FM 24/7. And of course, now you can watch us on the AUN TV network in Northern California. Melissa and I will be right back after this break.
Mom, thank God you're going to be okay.
So relieved. But you both should know when my time comes, I have a final expense policy with Senior Care USA.
Is Senior Care USA the life insurance policy that helps loved ones pay for funeral expenses and other debts? Bill and I called to get more information.
Yes, and there's an immediate payout of up to $50,000.
If you're over 50, call Senior Care USA now to learn more about final expense insurance plans.
There's no medical exam, even if you have a pre-existing condition like I do. When I called, the quote was free, and there was no pressure.
I found out that policies start for as little as 35 cents a day. Rates will never increase and coverage won't decrease.
I'm going to call today.
Ask about the free prescription discount card. Oh, I'm so glad you'll be taken care of.
call 1-800-822-7419. That's 1-800-822-7419.
But is it? It's really just the beginning, right? Have you written a book and want it published but don't know where to start? You're not alone. Page Publishing cuts through the confusion that most new authors face, like copyright protection, barcodes, printing, and digital uploading. We will get your book into bookstores now. We guide you through the publishing maze and help you distribute and sell your work in hard copy and ebook formats. That's right. We will digitize and place your book for sale on Amazon, Apple iBooks, and Google, offering it to millions. Don't waste another minute. Most publishers won't even look at new author submissions, but we're different. We review your book and provide you feedback in about a week. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, our team gets you into bookstores fast.
Call 1-877-461-5033.
Does your current bathroom need to be updated immediately? Introducing One Day Bath and Shower Remodeling, the complete and hassle-free way to get the new bathroom of your dreams in as little as 1 day and for as little as $199 a month. Yes, the experts at One Day Bath and Shower Remodeling will come to you anywhere in the country and show you all the customized options. Now you can have a brand new bathroom in as little as 1 day. Large or small bathrooms, if you want a new bathtub or shower installed, we can do it in as little as 1 day. And if you call right now, you can save $750 off your remodel. We make it easy by offering you financing as low as $199 per month. So for as little as $199 a month, you can finally have the bathroom of your dreams. Call now to schedule your free in-home consultation.
Welcome back, listeners, to the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Sharron Angle here with my co-host, Melissa Isaacs. Of course, we're coming to you from the Conservative Commandos radio network studios around the world on the internet. And if you would like a rebroadcast of our show today, you can go to our website, ccrshow.com, ccrshow.com. And if you have a guest that you would like to hear from on our show, just email Rick. He's at Conservative Commandos Radio Show, or if you don't like that, he got a shorter one, auntv@yahoo.com. So simple, auntv@yahoo.com. We're always looking for great guests, and we like our listeners to make those suggestions. Maybe you have someone, or you would like to be a guest yourself. So give Rick an email. He watches them all. And he answers very quickly. I know. I send him emails, and he does. So, Melissa, we have some great guests already for our show today. Tell us about them.
Well, our first guest is Gretchen Smithl, and I'm really excited to talk to Gretchen. She started what is called Code of Vets, and Gretchen herself is an Air Force veteran. Her dad is actually, well, he did pass from PTSD. He lost his battle at age 57. But he was a Bronze Star Medal recipient. He was a 100% disabled veteran exposed to Agent Orange, and he was a veteran of the Vietnam War. And Gretchen has done some wonderful stuff. She started a 501c3 and exclusively uses social media to raise awareness for veterans in distress. She has over 200,000 followers just on Twitter alone and raised over $790,000 last year to help with suicide prevention, housing, food, clothing, medical needs, you name it. And she has a 1% operating cost, and she's really caught the attention of some big names like Sean Hannity, Bill O'Reilly, and actually has a working relationship with Charlie Daniels. So I'm excited to talk to her because she's out there providing a service that really fills in the gaps what our legislature has not done, right? We know that veterans have needs, and she's out there doing this on her own, doing a great job. So I'm excited to talk to her. We're going to talk with Dr. Gavin Clarkson. And Dr. Gavin Clarkson served in the Trump administration. He was the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Policy and Economic Development, a former business professor, and he's now running for New Mexico's open U.S. Senate seat. He's a member of the Federalist Society, the Southwest Coalition for Life, and is a lifetime member of the NRA and the American Indian Science and Engineering Society, and he actually wrote an article for the Washington Examiner on basically how to make China pay for this coronavirus. So China has culpability here because if they would have just told us a few weeks earlier, then a lot of this could have been mitigated. So I'm excited to see what Dr. Clarkson has to say and how we can really get some of that back, recoup some of these damages, because certainly our country has, without a doubt, been damaged. And then we're going to speak with Don McDougall. He's an NRA instructor and member of the Los Padres Friends of the NRA Committee, and he owns a gun store. And basically, he was shut down because he was not deemed essential business, and so they told him to shut his doors. And Ronda Kennedy is going to come on with Don McDougall, and she is his attorney. She's a practicing lawyer in Ventura County, as well as the dean of a California law school. And she's also the Republican nominee for U.S. House District 26 in California. She's got a fight on her hands because here she is. She's a Republican attorney, and she has sued in California, in federal court, and to my understanding, they drew a Democratic judge. And believe it or not, you guys, politics plays even into the judiciary. So excited to talk to them, and good for them for taking on this cause. But that's our guest for today, so we should have a really great show.
We should. I want to get back to our conversation. I almost jumped in before the break and said, we have those stores, too, that are saying, oh, well, the seniors should all come at once. I'm not sure I want to go when all the seniors are going. Aren't they the ones that are getting the sickest and dying?
That's true.
I'm thinking maybe that's not a great idea to segment us, and maybe they're doing it on purpose because, you've heard this. They call us this coronavirus the boomer doomer, and being a part of the boomer generation here, this is a way to get rid of us so that we're not taxing the system. Is just get us all in the grocery store at the same time, right? So I don't know if I like that or not when they have these special times for us to go. I've noticed there's been a lot of celebrities too that have claimed that they have tested positive. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're sick. Like Chris Cuomo, he says, I feel great. I just have tested positive. And the Prince of Wales, Prince Charles of England, he tested positive. He had a few days where he had a fever and some symptoms, but he's well now, and he actually just self-quarantined for 5 days. This is also arbitrary. Tom Hanks, another one, he's tested positive, but he said he's fine. His family says, yeah, he's fine. So, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. It sounds like if you're wealthy enough, you can get tested, and we might all test positive. I don't know how they decide who gets a test, who doesn't get a test, whether you're sick or not. It seems like it's very arbitrary. Again, the rules are arbitrary.
They are. I know someone who was having symptoms, and he actually called 911 to get advice as what to do, and he did get a coronavirus test. And then there's another a veteran I was in the Army with, has all the symptoms, can't breathe, feels like there's something standing on his chest, cannot get a test. So, the first guy was in Georgia, second guy's in Ohio. So, I don't know the availability, but yeah, they're saying if you have the symptoms, just, self-quarantine, because a lot of the states don't have enough tests to go around. I'm in Alabama. I'm told that there's testing, but certainly there's not enough to test everyone who's having respiratory issues. So, yeah, that's a good question. How I don't know. I don't know how they're going to go about testing everyone.
I don't know either. And you and I know we went to CPAC. They said you guys have been exposed. So we self-quarantined. I did for 2 weeks. But here's the prince. He says, no, 5 days is good enough for me. I don't know. What's it seems like it's kind of up to the government, up to individuals. There's no real standard here, is there?
No, there is no standard. There's no standard even in the same state from county to county. The standards are different. So, and I think it's frustrating for law enforcement. law enforcement is told, hey, make sure that there's no gatherings. But I have a client who's a police officer. He said, we can go to these gatherings and break them up, but all I can do is say, hey, I have to recommend that you guys break it up, because not everything is necessarily a crime. At this point, there are guidelines and recommendations and suggestions. And then in other places, we've heard of people going to jail for breaking the crowd limit. So there is no uniformity, and I think there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of uncertainty. Well, we know there is, and we're hearing that from everyone.
And I guess my great fear is it turns Americans against Americans. When you're reporting your neighbors for having a small gathering, I don't know that that's necessary that we police one another that way. It's just very scary to me the way that our rights are really being infringed upon, and as you say, once you give them up, it's really hard to get them back. I'm so glad we have an attorney on as a co-host. Now we know who to go to when we feel that water getting a little too hot. We're gonna say nope. Our freedom of speech, freedom of press, everything's in jeopardy now, and we've got to take a stand. I'm Sharron Angle here with my co-host Melissa Isaak. We are coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios and around the world on the internet. We will be right back after this break with our first guest, Gretchen Smithl, who is an Air Force veteran and founder of Code of Vets, wonderful organization that you'll want to participate with, I'm sure. So stay with us. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Attention homeowners. Do you have a house that's in need of serious repairs? Do you have tenants that never seem to make their monthly payments? How about code violations, past due taxes, or maintenance costs you just can't afford? Then call my friends right now at Quick Cash Offer. They specialize in buying any home, no matter how ugly the situation. Turn that problem property into cash right now. It's just that simple. One call and you can get rid of that home headache forever. They buy the ugliest houses with instant closings, instant cash, and huge savings. Plus, there are no realtor fees, no listing fees, and no repair costs. Just cash in your hands for that painful property. They're buying a few more houses in your neighborhood this month. So take advantage of this cash offer and call Quick Cash Offer now.
855-296-8854. 855-296-8854. That's 855-296-8854.
Listen carefully. If your student loan debt is overwhelming you and things seem hopeless, we've got great news.
If you're still struggling with your student loan debt, there are government programs available that may actually lower your payments by consolidating your federal student loans. Just call us. We'll review your situation and work with you to consolidate your debt. In many cases, depending on your situation, we can lower your monthly payments in half or more. It doesn't matter how much you owe or how far behind you are. Even if you're in default, call us right now to find out how we can lower your payment in half immediately. You can stop the harassing phone calls and the wage garnishments. All you need to do is pick up the phone and call us right now. We can remove your default status, consolidate your federal student loans, lower your payments, and we can do it today. Stop worrying. This is a real solution that can help. So please call us right now.
Call 800-917-8671.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you and all seniors from the Final Expense Insurance Hotline. The average funeral costs about $7,000, even more. And the most government benefits will pay your family is only $255. That leaves your loved ones with a burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay up to $30,000 for your funeral and other final expenses. There's no medical exam and you'll have lifetime coverage. Plus, your rates will never increase and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless of your medical condition, as long as you make your premium payments. Get free information right now. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 855-221-7334.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next?
How do you get in front of companies or get a patent?
Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors just like you for 35 years.
And thousands of people contact them every month.
With 65 offices, you can meet with an InventHelp representative near you who will keep your idea confidential and explain their invention process step by step. InventHelp has helped over 10,000 inventors get patents. And they offer 3D animations and prototyping services to help demonstrate your idea. InventHelp's exclusive databank includes over 9,000 companies who have agreed to confidentially review new ideas, like yours.
Don't wonder what to do next. Take action right now and get the help you need from InventHelp.
InventHelp. Call today for free information.
800-880-2937. That's 800-880-2937 now.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Sharron Engel with my co-host, Melissa Isaacs, and we're coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios. If you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of our show, go to our website, ccrshow.com, ccrshow.com. And Melissa, we have our first guest ready. Would you please introduce her?
Absolutely. So our first guest is Gretchen Smithl. She's an Air Force veteran and founder of Coda Vets. They are a 501c3 and exclusively use social media to raise awareness for veterans in distress. With more than 200,000 followers just on Twitter last year alone, Coda Vets raised over $790,000 to help hundreds of veterans with suicide prevention, housing, food, clothing, medical, and transportation, just to name a few, with only 1% operating costs. The veterans receive near immediate care and assistance upon request because of their unique platform. They've caught the attention of celebrities and public figures alike, including Sean Hannity, Bill O'Reilly, Sidney Powell, Larry the Cable Guy, Oak Ridge Boys, Scott Baio, Herschel Walker, and even Charlie Daniels, who they have an ongoing partnership with. The inspiration for Coda Vets came from Sergeant Danny E. Smiley, Gretchen's dad and airborne angel. He was a Bronze Star Medal recipient with a 100% disability rating as a Vietnam veteran. He was exposed to Agent Orange. He did lose his battle with PTSD at the age of 57. So, Gretchen, welcome to the Conservative Commandos radio show.
Thank you, ladies, for having me. Oh, my gosh, I'm so excited about sharing our mission today.
It's very good to have you. You know, my father is also a disabled Vietnam veteran. He was a Marine, and so I can relate to some of the struggles that those Vietnam vets had coming back. I know that when they came back from Vietnam, is a completely different environment than our soldiers coming back today. So I think what you're doing is absolutely wonderful, especially having a disabled Vietnam vet in my own family. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the Coda Vets?
Well, we are nonprofit. We operate completely on social media, which I think that makes us incredibly unique in the veteran organization community. So we are able to respond immediately. I like to say that we're kind of spec ops. We're boots on the ground. As soon as that veterans pass through our radar, we're able to vet them quickly. We have a good system in place with my partner. She takes that task on. And then once she gets a path, a case plan, a path set in place for each veteran, she will send them over to me. And then I'll either live stream about them or I'll take pictures and share their journey. And over the past couple of years, we've really raised our reputation is great because they know that we're transparent and the money that we're raising is going to the veterans. So we're able to raise funds in a quick amount of time, sometimes in a matter of 2 to 3, 4 hours. And we can resolve a lot of crisis situations in one day just based on this social media platform. It's absolutely beautiful. We are in overdrive right now because of the pandemic, but we're taking it in stride because we really are set up for this. This is something we're ready for. So we have got a lot more veterans coming onto our platform asking for assistance, especially with food assistance. And once we vet that, we can push them out there and get them the help that they need.
Absolutely. I mean, that's amazing. And I know that Congress has really been working on the stimulus package, and they've tried to look at the different groups and who needs assistance as far as small businesses, or they look at some immigrants. But what about our veterans? How does the stimulus package help our veterans?
You know what? That's a good question, Melissa. I would like an honest answer with that too, because these are the men and women who have worn the uniform, who've served to protect our nation. We would not be sitting here having this conversation if it had not been for our veterans. We need to be putting them at the beginning, the first of the line, at the front of the line, not at the back of the line. And I feel like that's what happens with veterans, not just in a crisis, which we're in now, but in day-to-day life. We are always at the back of the bus, and I don't understand it. There's no reason for it. And so that's why we are out there every day, 7 days a week, fighting for our veterans, raising funds for them. You know what? Their journeys matter. Their stories matter. And that's what we want to do at Code of Vets, is we're a platform for veterans, and we're giving each one of them a time and a place for us to share their story, because we deserve to have that spotlight. There's so many needy veterans out there, and they're genuine. They're worthy. They wanted that second shot at life, and that's what we're giving them. We're giving them a second shot.
Absolutely. And people love veterans. We have Veterans Day, we have Memorial Day, we love talking about, we love celebrating them. But when push comes to shove, do you think that our government is doing enough to help the veterans? And who's out there? You have the Code of Vets. You are literally boots on the ground, taking food to these veterans, to feeding these veterans. Who's from a legislative front? Who's out there lobbying for them?
That's what they're such a. That's what I want to know. We have so many veterans that are in crisis every day, roughly 22. You can argue the number 17 to 27. I don't care where that number lands. The point is, we are dying every day outside of this crisis, and we're seeing an uptick in suicidal veterans during this crisis. We dealt with 3 suicidal veterans yesterday, and as of today, so far, 2 more. That's 5, and we're a small organization, and so that's just a glimpse into our world. So there's a huge crisis out there that has not been addressed. Who is our voice in DC on a daily basis? Like you said, we have Veterans Day, there's Memorial Day, but why can't we make every day Veterans Day? That's how important I feel like our men and women are. We are not taking care of them, and the number of suicide it's reflecting that.
Absolutely. Now, you said there's an uptick in needs since the coronavirus hit. Can you tell us more about that? What's the type of need, and what's the percentage, if you can tell us, of increase in veterans in need?
Well, we've had a quadruple of requests for food assistance. In 3 days, in a 72-hour period, we had 50 veterans and veteran families with 22 minor children asking for food, saying that they had gone to their food banks in their local county and that there was nothing there. So they're having to wait for it to be replenished. And in the meantime, what do? So what we've been trying to do is we've been putting these lists out, and I've been raising funds very quickly for $50 per family just to get very basic food supplies. And it's sad that we are doing that in our country. I mean, it just breaks my heart that we're even having to talk about this. And we're just barely touching the surface. We have other veterans and veterans families who are looking at evictions and foreclosures. Has there been a stay put on that? There has. But in the meantime, they are accruing rent, and it's going to be bad once that's lifted. And that's what our veterans are freaking out about. They have PTSD, TBI, other mental health issues. And when you tack this on top of it, it is almost too much for them. They are just coming to us in droves, and we are trying to take care of as many as we can. And we're not stopping. We're not taking breaks. Our team is working in full gear. But again, because we have it set up for social media, we're able to funnel through quite a few veterans.
And it doesn't sound like your organization is making payments on Mercedes that veterans can't make, or, you're not funding trips to Disney World. We're talking about the bare essentials. We're talking about food and rent and blankets. It's very basic things. So I think there's a misconception that some people have that, well, if a veteran gets disability, they're taken care of. They get free medical at the VA. Can you clarify for some people who really don't understand maybe explain what veterans disability is, and I think people know about the problems at the VA hospitals, but could you clarify some of that for people who say, but they get disability?
Right. Yeah. Oh, and the disability can range anywhere from 10% up to 100%. So we're talking $146 up to $3,100. So it goes up incrementally as your disability increases. So you cannot live on $900, $1,200, $1,700 when you have a family of 3 or 4. And that's the benefit they're getting depending on their percentage rating. And at 100%, they are at $3,100, which you can live on that. However, when there is when there's something unexpected that happens, like a financial crisis, if your car breaks down or you need a new refrigerator, washer and dryer, that $3,100 is already out. That goes to bills. When you have a family of 3, 4, 5, or 6 living on that only stretches so far. So that's where we come in, and we do not have an income limit because our veterans that are disabled, they do not make a lot of money, and they are not entitled to a lot of free stuff, so to speak, with what the average American would think. So we have raised funds for a roof because a lot of our veterans can't raise that money. They can't. Where are they going to come up with money for a roof? We've covered costs for appliances. We just raised funds for a vet in Michigan who needed his water and electricity turned back on. It was disconnected. He's sitting in the dark with no running water. We just raised a little over $700, and I sent it to that vet, and we did it in 30 minutes.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, Gretchen, we're going to have to take a break. I know that my co-host Sharron has some more questions for you. So we're coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios around the world and on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Net Talk America, and AM FM 24/7. Our show can also be seen in San Francisco, San Rafael, Marion, North Bay, San Jose, Silicon Valley, Santa Rosa, Redding, Sacramento, Chico, California, as part of the AUN TV network. We'll be right back.
Are you a veteran and are you a homeowner? Then think Streamline and maybe save yourself a few $100s every month on your mortgage. A VA Streamline refinance. It's called a rate reduction loan because mortgage interest reduction is exactly what it does. It's just for veterans and it lowers your mortgage rate so you can save on mortgage payments every month, every year. That's a lot of money saved. And it's so easy to qualify. You don't need pay stubs, a W-2, or bank statements. You don't need a home appraisal. It's fast and easy to apply. And mortgage interest rates are very low right now. So a VA Streamline refinance makes it super easy and super affordable to take advantage of this opportunity and really cut your monthly mortgage payments. Veteran and homeowner? Call us to find out more. 888-893-7491. 888-893-7491.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next?
How do you get in front of companies or get a patent?
Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors just like you for 35 years.
And thousands of people contact them every month.
With 65 offices, you can meet with an InventHelp representative near you who will keep your idea confidential and explain their invention process step by step. InventHelp has helped over 10,000 inventors get patents. And they offer 3D animations and prototyping services to help demonstrate your idea. InventHelp's exclusive databank includes over 9,000 companies who have agreed to confidentially review new ideas, like yours.
Don't wonder what to do next. Take action right now and get the help you need from InventHelp.
InventHelp. Call today for free information.
800-880-2937. That's 800-880-2937 now.
Is your credit card debt driving you batty? We're going up! Just like your credit card fees and interest rates. To the top! With those sky-high payments! You can't forget about your debt. Always fear! The debt suckers are here!
Are your payments sucking the life out of you? Just one call to Consolidated Credit can get the debt suckers off your back. Consolidated Credit will lower your interest rates, consolidate your bills into one easy payment, and get you out of debt fast. Call Consolidated Credit and get your life back.
Call 1-800-201-8213. 1-800-201-8213. That's 1-800-201-8213. 1-800-201-8213.
When debt is the problem, Consolidated Credit is the solution.
Because debt sucks!
Attention Viagra and Cialis users. Are prescription drugstore prices too costly? Get 50 generic pills for only $99. That's right, 50 100 milligram generic Viagra for only $99. Our products have the same active ingredients as the brand name products. Money back guaranteed if you're 100% not satisfied. Get 50 generic pills for only $99. Order now and call the number on your screen. Have your credit card ready.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Sharron Angle here with my co-host, Melissa Isaacs. And we want to give a shout out to all our listeners in Jacksonville, Tampa, and the Villages, Florida, Las Vegas, and Reno, Nevada, Macon, Georgia, Lancaster, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Boulder, and Colorado Springs, Colorado, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Long Beach, California, Arlington, Virginia. And we can also be seen on the AUN TV network. We are everywhere. We are everywhere, as our producer, Rick Trader, likes to say. We've been talking with Gretchen Smithl, who's an Air Force veteran and is founder of Code of Vets, a 501c3 that is exclusively using social media to raise awareness for veterans in distress. Gretchen, thank you so much for spending time with us here today. We just really appreciate what you're doing and for these veterans. You know, this is a nationwide outreach that you have, isn't it? I've heard you talk about California and Tennessee and Wisconsin and Michigan. Have you hit all 50 states?
We have. Yes, we have. We've assisted veterans in every state in our country, and I'm just beyond thrilled and proud of what we're doing.
So when you say we've assisted them and you can get them relief in a matter of 30 minutes, how does that really show up? How do you really do that? What's your mechanism there?
Well, I'll take, for example, the Michigan veteran we just helped half hour ago, right before I got on with you guys. My partner Cindy had vetted him. His story was ready. So she emailed it to me. I put it on Twitter and just put a little quick snippet about what he's going through. And within a matter of 30 minutes, we had a goal. We had set, I believe it was $771. Again, this is a veteran sitting in an apartment with no running water and no electricity and needed basic food and gas. So we were able to do it within 30 minutes. Once that tweet went out, and I have 225,000 just gung-ho, followers. I like to call them they're Code of Vet soldiers. They're digital warriors. And that once they see that, they retweet it out, and it goes out nationwide. It goes out all over social media. And within a matter of a half hour, we had that money raised, and I was able to turn around and send every penny of it to that veteran. I PayPal'd it. So I take a screenshot of the PayPal receipt. I place it on Twitter. That way, everybody can see that their money went to that specific veteran. It's a beautiful process. It's so effective. Oh my gosh, I'm just floored by it myself. It's a miracle. We absolutely love doing this. We do this all day, every day.
And it's Twitter that you use. I was expecting Facebook.
I know. That's a lot of people are surprised by that. We do have a presence on Facebook, but it is nowhere in comparison to Twitter. And it's where I started my page to honor Dad. And I never knew it was going to grow into a 501c3. That was not my goal. I just wanted to be out there. I'm a veteran. But I wanted to just share my dad's story from a daughter's perspective and how it impacted the whole family. And when I started sharing his journey, I started doing quick videos and then transitioned to live streams. It just skyrocketed. The veterans flocked to it, and they started sharing their stories, their own journeys, and they would say, Gretchen, I've been down that path your dad was on, or I'm on that path now. And then they eventually started sharing their needs with me, and it was really just very organic in the way it evolved. And I found just through trial and error our first year of what works, what doesn't work, and now we're an effective machine.
Well, see, I was expecting Facebook and GoFundMe or crowdsourcing or something like that, and here you've just taken the real fundamentals of Twitter, which is 142 characters, isn't it? I mean, how do you get a message out in so few characters?
Well, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So what we like to do is we like to share a military photo. And if it's a family, we like to show, one of the children or a picture of the family. And that gives the donors that heart connection. When you see that face out there, that's the veteran we're helping, or that's the baby that we're buying diapers for. It really does make all the world of difference. And then I just put a very brief summary of who that veteran is, of their needs and how they're struggling. I have a veteran right now, young Navy veteran family with a baby, and they are really struggling this month to make ends meet. And so that's what I said. They're really struggling this month. Let's help them out. Let's give them a hand up. And this is what they need. They need $900. So by the time I'm done with you, I will be able to send them their funds, and we'll be off to the next veteran.
Now, you almost sound like a counselor. Do you have to have counseling credentials to do this, or are you just a kind of empathetic, sympathetic listener and can get the job done? How is this working?
I do have 4 degrees, so I am educated. I actually do have a master's in counseling, but I always clarify it's in school counseling. So I do have a foundation there. And then my partner, Dr. Cindy Walter, she has her PhD in public health, and she is trained in crisis prevention. So when we do have suicidal veterans that do pop up on Twitter, and they do, we had 3 yesterday that put out suicidal tweets or they DM us, I will gear them towards her and let her handle it. And she has saved countless lives. And if she's not available, I can walk them through it. I always give them the crisis line number just in case they can't hang on. But generally, what we're seeing is those veterans need hope. They need to know that somebody cares about them. In those darkest moments, if you can share what is going on in your life, that literally gets them out of that dark place. Mm-hmm. So we've seen that time and time again. There are times when we have had to call the police when we know that they're in that moment, they're going to do it, and we have had to do wellness checks. So we will take those steps as needed. But we're equipped to handle this. We know, and Cindy has great education and training in this. So we have a team as well. We have a nurse on our team. So we're definitely in a place where we can do this, and we're not out there willy nilly, not knowing what we're doing. But we walk with God. I believe God has brought us all together for a purpose, because I really do have a great team of volunteers. And I came up with this idea, and it worked. And it just it literally has exploded since day one. And God has blessed it because it's pure and it's genuine, and we've kept it simple about the veterans.
So when was day one? How long have you been doing this?
I started October 11th of 2017.
So we're talking not quite 3 years. Now tell me, just to estimate, how many veterans have you actually been able to help in that short 3 years?
Oh my gosh, it would be tough to put a number on it, but I want to say somewhere probably roughly around 5,000, because I know last year we helped roughly 3,500. So given the fact that the year before, and then we're through March now into April, so I would say probably roughly 5,000. And last year we raised $791,000, so we are pushing the $1 million mark at this point.
That's amazing.
It's 1% operating cost on top of that. That's phenomenal. That's what I'm so proud of.
Of course, and we're talking now about a real problem. There's a lot of people that aren't vets that are kind of suffering from PTSD over this COVID-19 crisis because they don't know how to handle it. So when we're talking about veterans, is it just disabled vets, or is it any veteran that goes out there and sees a tweet from you and he says, I was working. I thought I was doing fine, but I'm not anymore.
Yeah, we help all veterans. If you have served honorably, and this is for all of our veteran listeners out there, if you have served honorably, we are here for you. We do not pick and choose within the veteran community. We will help any veteran with any branch. We do not have the age range. We help them all. And that's the beauty about Code of Vets, is that we have a very general mission, and it literally is to take care of our own. That's it. That's why we're here. And we do not pick and choose which era. We choose all of the veterans. So I'm just thrilled about it. It works. I don't see another vet org out there doing it. Oh my gosh, we have so many beautiful success stories. I wish we had 2 hours.
Well, I do too. We're talking with Gretchen Smithl. She's an Air Force veteran herself, and she's the founder of Code of Vets. Tell our listeners, tell our audience how they can tell their veteran friends, or if they're veterans, how they can find you, friend you, follow you, help you, or if they need it, get help for themselves.
Right. First and foremost, veterans, if you are out there and you need some assistance with going through this crisis with food assistance, rent, utilities, you let us know, because fill out a vet in need form on codeofvets.com. That's where we're trying to funnel our vets in need. And then we will vet you and we will get you out there. And it's a pretty quick process. You'll be very pleased with how quickly it flows. So we're able to push through a lot of veterans. Find us on Twitter @CodeOfVets. Follow us, share the mission, because the bigger we can grow our base, the more veterans we can help. And I want to grow this platform as big as possible, because it's such an effective tool for the veteran community. This is not my show. This is not about me. This is literally a platform for veterans.
Gretchen Smithl, thank you so much for being here, our guest here on Conservative Commandos radio show. Take care, and God bless you and your mission. We are coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios and around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Net Talk America, AM, FM 24/7, and of course now you can watch us on the AUN television network. We're going to come right back with our next guest after this break, and that's Dr. Gavin Clarkson, who will be talking to us about how to make China pay for coronavirus. You won't want to miss that. I'm Sharron Angle, here with my co-host Melissa Isaacson. We'll be right back.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America, and get this. Did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
Welcome back, listeners. I'm Sharron Angle here with my co-host, Melissa Isaacs, and we are coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios. And if you would like a rebroadcast of today's show, just check out our website, ccrshow.com, ccrshow.com. And Melissa, our guest is ready with us now. Would you please make him feel welcome?
Absolutely. Dr. Gavin Clarkson served in the Trump administration as Deputy Assistant Secretary for Policy and Economic Development, is a former business professor, and is now running for New Mexico's open U.S. Senate seat. Dr. Clarkson is a member of the Federalist Society, the Southwest Coalition for Life, and is a lifetime member of both the NRA and the American Indian Science and Engineering Society. Dr. Clarkson, welcome to the Conservative Commando Radio Show.
Hey, thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah. Now, you had written an article published in the Washington Examiner, an opinion piece on how to make China pay for the coronavirus. Tell me about that article and why you wrote that article.
Well, I've been doing a lot of videos on Chinese culpability. The Communist Chinese Party is clearly to blame for the personal and economic devastation around the world, but certainly here in New Mexico and certainly in the United States. There was a study that came out of the University of Southampton in the UK that said that if China had just come clean 3 weeks earlier, 95% of the world's coronavirus cases would have never happened. And there are some folks that are starting to file suit against China, but the biggest challenge they have is something called the Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act, which basically generally bars private causes of action against foreign sovereigns. And there's a limited set of ways to break through that immunity. It's certainly possible to do it, but I was thinking, well, if you remember back to 1979 when Iran took our hostages after they stormed our embassy. We used a portion of the National Emergencies Act to confiscate their assets, freeze their assets, and in some cases liquidate their assets. And so once the president announced the national emergency on March 13th, since I do have a law degree and I'm a former law professor, I figured I'd go and nerd out inside the National Immunities Act or National Emergencies Act to try and figure out ways to get around Chinese sovereign immunity. And sure enough, and if I think back, it's section 50 USC section 1702-A-1-C basically goes in and says that the federal government and particularly the president can order the confiscation of foreign bad actors' assets and liquidate them if necessary. And we just passed and signed into law a $2.2 trillion rescue package. So I figured China holds $1.1 trillion of U.S. Treasury bonds. So this would be a vehicle to very quickly and without any ability of China to stop it, go in and seize $1.1 trillion of Chinese-held U.S. Treasury bonds, liquidate them on the open market to non-Chinese Communist Party participants, and that would generate $1.1 trillion in the U.S. Treasury to reimburse the American taxpayer for Chinese communist negligence.
Okay, so in the statute that you quoted, is this something that is compensatory in nature or punitive or both?
Well, it basically allows the president, when we have been attacked by a hostile actor, to go after that actor's assets, those that are aiding or abetting that bad actor. And so we used it in 1979 to go after the assets of the Iranian regime. And basically, we could do the same thing. So it's not specifically legal recourse. It just allows the federal government to go in and seize the assets and and dispose of them in the way that is in the best interest of the United States.
Okay, so you said not so much a legal recourse. So this isn't something that has to be ruled on by the judicial branch to say, okay, yes, you can do this. This is something that the executive branch can do unilaterally.
Absolutely. And in fact, the Supreme Court has already opined on this situation relative to Iran because Iran tried to sue and Congress went in and said, no, we're not going to let you sue. In fact, we're going to deny you access to our courts for this particular cause of action. Supreme Court upheld that as constitutional. So basically this is all part of what I refer to as my frack China policy. Step one is confiscating their treasuries and freezing their assets. Step two is enlisting our international allies to similarly isolate China economically, because under Article 5 of our NATO treaty, Article 5 of our Mutual Defense Pact with Japan, Article 4 of the ANZUS Treaty, which is the United States, Australia, and New Zealand. Basically, attack on any one of us is an attack on all of us. And certainly the news reporting is that the UK is equally furious with China, and there's certainly Chinese economic devastation around the world because of their negligence. And so what we're trying to do is with step two is internationalize our approach. And it's really important to point out that my approach does not cause a default in the U.S. Treasury market. This is not a bond default. These bonds are valid. They're just not valid for China. We take them away from China and we sell them to other people. I mean, Japan holds $1.2 trillion of U.S. debt. Japan's going to be a solid ally in this process, and we don't want Japan's interest to be hurt, nor do we want any Americans who hold Treasury bonds to be hurt. So this is very clearly structured to not cause a default, but is merely a confiscation of Chinese assets because of their negligence. Then step three, which will be a little bit farther along, but a lot of people are talking about it now, we need to repatriate our economic manufacturing capabilities away from China and also domesticate our critical supply chains so that we're not dependent on communist China anymore. I mean, I'm old enough to be a Cold Warrior. I actually, second generation Navy. My father was the first American Indian to fly a jet. He was a 26-year Navy veteran. But I don't remember us doing business with the old Soviet Union. I don't remember our manufacturing base being outsourced to Soviet Russia. In fact, my mom, my parents met when they were spies in Paris. My dad was the senior nuclear targeting strategist for NATO. My mom was a DIA analyst who had identified China as a long-term strategic nuclear threat, all the way back, a strategic threat generally in 1962. She was writing a brief on China's nuclear capability and needed a subject matter expert. So my parents' first date was a discussion of Chinese centrifuges and uranium hexafluoride, which probably explains a lot about me as a small child. But I learned about strategic nuclear deterrence at the dinner table. And so this is something where I've been a China hawk growing up. I was certainly on board with the president's policies against China. It felt like out here in New Mexico, I was a lone voice in the wilderness arguing that the president's economic tariff strategy against China was not protectionism, because we're all, both the president and I are strong free traders. It was an exercise in strategic deterrence, because the only thing a bully like the Communist Party in China understands is repeatedly punching them in the nose until they capitulate. And if they don't capitulate soon enough, you punch harder. And you continue to punch them forcibly until they act as a responsible participant in the world community. Okay.
Tell us a little bit about this law firm that filed a class action lawsuit out of Florida.
Well, I've spoken to them briefly. I've shared with them my thoughts on the mechanism, because not only are we going to try and confiscate China's $1.1 trillion of bonds, but we want to freeze all the assets that we can get our hands on, and that would provide a source of claims for private citizens. We would have to maneuver the details with that. But basically, they are just as I'm calling out Chinese negligence, because it's very clear. China suppressed information. They told all their researchers to destroy the genetic data, destroy the test kits. The only reason South Korea was able to start developing tests before coronavirus hit their country was because Chinese doctors and scientists defied the communist government and actually leaked the information out so the world could start creating tests.
All right. And just one quick question, there's a lot of people that say, you're racist if you want to make China pay for this. They don't understand. We're talking about communist China. So what do you tell people and naysayers who come at you and say, you're just racist?
Well, first of all, it's not racist to call it the Chinese coronavirus any more than it's racist to call it the Ebola virus, because Ebola was discovered on the banks of the Ebola River. And so, I basically, if you want to, I can call it the Chinese Communist Party virus. That's just too many words. So, the Wuhan coronavirus, the Chinese coronavirus, that's certainly the country of origin. But I'm used to the radical left referring to me, they call me racist because I'm strong on the border. I live on a county that borders Mexico. But, when they do that, I whip out my tribal ID card and respond in Spanish that la mitad de mis compañeros en mi campaña son hijos o nietos de inmigrantes legales. And they're not expecting somebody as light-skinned as I am to be fluent in Spanish.
Gotcha. Okay.
But my son is the one who's learning Mandarin now. So this is not not an assault against the Chinese people. This is very specifically creating responsibility and enforcing that responsibility against the communist Chinese regime. And they're the Communist Party is very worried about their own internal security because as much as they try to clamp down on social media, there's a lot of Chinese citizens who have found out their government's been lying to them. Mm-hmm. The death toll, they say publicly, is a much smaller number. In reality, the intelligence services are saying that China's been lying about it from the beginning. The death toll is probably somewhere between 20 and 40 times higher than China has reported. But I learned that early on. Fighting the Soviets when I was in the Navy, you also can't trust the communist Chinese.
Right. Well, Dr. Clarkson, we're going to have to take a break, and I know that my co-host Sharron is going to have some questions for you. So we're coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios, around the world and on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Net Talk America, and AM FM 24/7. Our show can also be seen in San Francisco, San Rafael, Marion, North Bay, San Jose, Silicon Valley, Santa Rosa, Redding, Sacramento, and Chico, California as part of the AUN TV network. We'll be back shortly.
Mom, thank God you're going to be okay.
So relieved. But you both should know when my time comes, I have a final expense policy with Senior Care USA.
Is Senior Care USA the life insurance policy that helps loved ones pay for funeral expenses and other deaths? Bill and I called to get more information.
Yes, and there's an immediate payout of up to $50,000.
If you're over 50, call Senior Care USA now to learn more about final expense insurance plans.
There's no medical exam, even if you have a pre-existing condition like I do. When I called, the quote was free, and there was no pressure.
I found out that policies start for as little as 35 cents a day. Rates will never increase and coverage won't decrease.
I'm going to call today.
Ask about the free prescription discount card. Oh, so glad you'll be taken care of.
Call 1-800-822-7419. That's 1-800-822-7419.
But is it? It's really just the beginning, right? Have you written a book and want it published but don't know where to start? You're not alone. Page publishing cuts through the confusion that most new authors face, like copyright protection, barcodes, printing, and digital uploading. We will get your book into bookstores now. We guide you through the publishing maze and help you distribute and sell your work in hard copy and ebook formats. That's right. We will digitize and place your book for sale on Amazon, Apple iBooks, and Google, offering it to millions. Don't waste another minute. Most publishers won't even look at new author submissions, but we're different. We review your book and provide you feedback in about a week. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, our team gets you into bookstores fast.
Call 1-877-461-5033.
Does your current bathroom need to be updated immediately? Introducing one-day bath and shower remodeling. The complete and hassle-free way to get the new bathroom of your dreams in as little as 1 day. And for as little as $1.99 a month. Yes, the experts at One Day Bath and Shower Remodeling will come to you anywhere in the country and show you all the customized options. Now you can have a brand new bathroom in as little as 1 day. Large or small bathrooms, if you want a new bathtub or shower installed, we can do it in as little as 1 day. And if you call right now, you can save $750 off your remodel. We make it easy by offering you financing as low as $199 per month. So for as little as $199 a month, you can finally have the bathroom of your dreams. Call now to schedule your free in-home consultation.
Welcome back, listeners, to the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Sharron Angle here with my co-host, Melissa Isaacs. And if you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of our show, please check out our website, ccrshow.com, ccrshow.com. We are here with Dr. Gavin Clarkson who served in the Trump administration as the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Policy and Economic Development. He's a former business professor, and he's now running for New Mexico's open U.S. Senate seat. And we've just enjoyed talking with him about how to make China pay for the coronavirus. Thank you so much for staying through that break with us, Dr. Clarkson.
Well, thanks so much. This is a very important subject, not only to folks here in New Mexico, but in the United States and around the world, because China's negligence is literally going to kill more than 1 million people around the world and cost trillions of dollars. And this, my Frack China strategy, is a way to economically make them pay, reimburse the taxpayer as much as we can, and try and develop a strategy to repatriate our manufacturing base, bring back those manufacturing jobs, make our supply chains, particularly our strategic supply chains, much more secure. But part of that is also we've got to rethink post-secondary education in this country. I'm a college professor. I tell people I'm an endangered species. I'm a Christian conservative, pro-life, pro-gun, pro-Israel Republican, and then nobody believes it when I add college professor at the end of that. And I teach at the business school. I also teach corporate law and entrepreneurship and finance and federal Indian law. But one of the things I can tell you is that more than half of what we teach in American universities today is totally useless. As somebody who has personally changed the wax ring on a toilet, I can tell you there's a very solid reason why we pay poets a lot less than we pay plumbers. You know, and if you think about it, you remember when those knuckleheads were eating the Tide Pods as a game. Just imagine what happens when those same knuckleheads discover there's a bunt cake under the toilet. And only those who change the wax ring on the toilet will get that joke, which means we need to have more people in this country who can build and fix and make and raise and grow things. So one of the things that I also want to do is in long term, de-emphasize a higher education at the university level and re-emphasize the skilled trades and get more people. I mean, it's the difference between a poet and a pizza is that the pizza can feed a family of 4. And I know my mom's an English professor, but she fully understands that in many cases the liberal arts should be the realm of the highbrow elites, and we should really focus our resources on investing in education that advances the American economy. And so that's step 4 of the Frack China strategy, is to restructure our higher education. I refer to it as the academic enema.
Okay. Well, you are coming to us from New Mexico, which is right there on the border. And truly, this is a border issue, isn't it, with China? I mean, it's the result of no borders, of this globalist philosophy, I guess, is what we want to say. Globalist philosophy that's running wild in America and actually across the world.
Absolutely. And my wife is a legal immigrant. Her family's been fleeing tyranny and socialism their entire life. The father's side of the family fled Mussolini in Italy in World War II. The mother's side fled Franco in Spain. They ended up in Argentina just in time for the military junta. So my wife grew up with that level of oppression. They fled to Venezuela just in time for Hugo Chavez. And so 27 years ago, my wife crossed the border legally, came to Houston, didn't speak a lick of English, got her work permit legally, started working she learned English by listening to country music while cleaning other people's houses. It took her 14 years to become a U.S. citizen, and she is now one of the top medical estheticians in the United States. She is the quintessential American immigrant success story. She followed the law every step of the way, and it irritates her to no end to watch these people game the system and cheat the system on our southern border. My wife and I have actually had Brazilians at the U.S.-Mexico border surrendered to us because Border Patrol was busy with a different group of Brazilians. And in fact, 3 weeks ago, they apprehended more than 300 Chinese nationals at the border just south of where I live. Who knows how many of them were carrying coronavirus? So it was a security issue. It's a sovereignty issue. As the president says, if you don't have borders, you don't have a country. Now it is becoming a public health issue because these people that were coming across the border, fortunately, the president has seen fit to totally shut off even asylum claims, let everybody hang out in Mexico rather than come here. And hopefully that will turn off the spigot of people trying to illegally game the system and abuse our asylum system to try and gain entry here illegally.
Well, now we've heard reports from Chinese nationals that have immigrated that really China is thinking of some kind of colonization of the world. And of course, you look at things in the U.S., and there's quite a lot of property that's owned by Chinese entities. Would that be a part of your Frack China policy?
Absolutely. So this is part of where we get people around the world to join us in economically isolating China, because China has been economically abusing countries, particularly in the developing world. They'll give them these sweetheart debt deals, and then put up the countries have to put up their ports as collateral. Then China will end up seizing the collateral when the countries are unable to make their debt payments. So China has been secretly acquiring, well, not secretly, but surreptitiously acquiring several strategic port assets around the world, including with a NATO ally like Greece. So one of the things that we would want to do by invoking the NATO Article 5 is allow our partners to go in and seize those assets as compensation for the economic and personal devastation that Chinese negligence has caused. But absolutely, we need to divest American interests out of Chinese companies. With this, it won't be instantaneous and it won't be easy, but it's absolutely critically necessary. We didn't do business with Soviet Russia. Why are we doing business with communist China?
Well, I remember when we opened the door to China, and I'm thinking people are probably ready to close that door again and really take a strong stand where China's concerned. With the last few minutes of our show here with you, I want you to talk a little bit about your Senate run. Why are you running for Senate? How can our listeners find you and help you?
All right, well, the best thing to do is for people to go to gavinclarkson.com. There's a donate button in the upper right-hand corner. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter. But very simply, the reason I'm running is because 95% of my students cannot get a job in New Mexico when they graduate. And that was before the economy shut down with the coronavirus. But we have a serious problem where, unfortunately, New Mexico is 50 out of 50 in all the wrong categories. Our state motto used to be, thank God for Mississippi, but now Mississippi's doing better than we do. They're better than we are. So we've got a real challenge economically. And a lot of that, people say, well, you're running for the U.S. Senate. How can you affect local economies? But people forget, and Ms. Engel, you know this from Nevada, 2/3 of New Mexico is federal land. And therefore, federal regulation has a over oppressive impact on local economies, particularly with farmers and ranchers and grazing and mining and things like that. So, I mean, when I was in the Trump administration, I supervised a multi-billion-dollar oil, gas, coal, mining, and timber portfolio. I supervised the only healthy forest in New Mexico, which was the one that the Mescalero Apache tribe does their forestry operations. And I actually have a Republican opponent who says that climate change causes drought and forest fires, which is odd because last time I checked, drought and forest fires were caused by bad forest management, and because we've allowed the environmentalists to use these laws and regulations to place the interest of the spotted owl over human beings. So that's another thing that when I was in the Trump administration, for every one regulation we put forward, we rolled back 22. I would want to continue that in the U.S. Senate by rolling back, repealing, or at least modernizing, updating many of these regulations that the radical left has been using to decimate our economy. And to take another example with China, we are almost entirely dependent on China for a number of what are called critical minerals or rare earth minerals. Most of those exist in the ground in New Mexico, but the radical left won't let us dig for them. The deep state allies that they have basically tie everything up in regulation. And we need to stop that. We need to be able to get access to our natural resources. There is no reason New Mexico should be as poor as it is. We're actually a very wealthy state in terms of natural resources. But we need to get rid of the Green New Dealers, the Soros influences, and basically, start digging and drilling and growing and grazing and get our economy back and have New Mexico lead the way in terms of harvesting timber and also digging out critical minerals so that we can repatriate our manufacturing base and really put America first on the world stage. And your website again, so our listeners can help? It's GavinClarkson.com. That's GavinClarkson.com. And Dr. Gavin Clarkson, we're so pleased that you joined us today to talk about how we can make China pay for the coronavirus. Thank you so much. Take care and God bless. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And we are coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios and around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Net Talk America, AFM 24/7. Of course, you can watch us on the AUN TV network in San Francisco, San Rafael, Marin, North Bay, San Jose, Silicon Valley, Santa Rosa, Redding, Sacramento, Chico, and soon in Reno, Carson City, and Lake Tahoe, Nevada. Melissa Isaacs and I will be right back after this break.
Attention homeowners. Do you have a house that's in need of serious repairs? Do you have tenants that never seem to make their monthly payments? How about code violations, past due taxes, or maintenance costs you just can't afford? Then call my friends right now at Quick Cash Offer. They specialize in buying any home, no matter how ugly the situation. Turn that problem property into cash right now. It's just that simple. One call and you can get rid of that home headache forever. They buy the ugliest houses with instant closings, instant cash, and huge savings. Plus, there are no realtor fees, no listing fees, and no repair costs. Just cash in your hands for that painful property. They're buying a few more houses in your neighborhood this month. So take advantage of this cash offer and call Quick Cash Offer now.
855-296-8854. 855-296-8854. That's 855-296-8854.
Listen carefully. If your student loan debt is overwhelming you and things seem hopeless, we've got great news.
If you're still struggling with your student loan debt, there are government programs available that may actually lower your payments by consolidating your federal student loans. Just call us. We'll review your situation and work with you to consolidate your debt. In many cases, depending on your situation, we can lower your monthly payments in half or more. It doesn't matter how much you owe or how far behind you are. Even if you're in default, call us right now to find out how we can lower your payment in half immediately. You can stop the harassing phone calls and the wage garnishments. All you need to do is pick up the phone and call us right now. We can remove your default status, consolidate your federal student loans, lower your payments, and we can do it today. Stop worrying. This is a real solution that can help. So please call us right now.
Call 800-917-8671.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you and all seniors from the Final Expense Insurance Hotline. The average funeral costs about $7,000, even more. And the most government benefits will pay your family is only $255. That leaves your loved ones with a burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay up to $30,000 for your funeral and other final expenses. There's no medical exam and you'll have lifetime coverage. Plus, your rates will never increase and your plan cannot be canceled regardless of your medical condition, as long as you make your premium payments. Get free information right now. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 855-221-7334.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next?
How do you get in front of companies or get a patent?
Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors just like you for 35 years.
And thousands of people contact them every month.
With 65 offices, you can meet with an InventHelp representative near you who will keep your idea confidential and explain their invention process step by step. InventHelp has helped over 10,000 inventors get patents. And they offer 3D animations and prototyping services to help demonstrate your idea. InventHelp's exclusive databank includes over 9,000 companies who have agreed to confidentially review new ideas, like yours.
Don't wonder what to do next. Take action right now and get the help you need from InventHelp.
InventHelp. Call today for free information.
800-880-2937. That's 800-880-2937 now.
Welcome back, listeners, to the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Sharron Engel. I'm here with my co-host, Melissa Isaacs, and we are, of course, coming to you from our Conservative Commandos radio network studios across the world on the internet. But we'd like to give a shout out to our listeners in Jacksonville, Tampa, and the Villages, Florida, Las Vegas and Reno, Nevada, Macon, Georgia, Lancaster and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Boulder, Colorado Springs, Colorado, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Long Beach, California, Arlington, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. And, of course, now you can watch us on the AUN TV network in Northern California. Melissa, our next guests are ready. Would you please make them feel welcome?
Yes, our two next guests are Don McDougall and Ronda Kennedy. And Don McDougall is an NRA instructor and member of the Los Padres Friends of the NRA Committee. If he's not at the range, you'll find him setting the record straight on gun issues and gun safety on AmmoLand Shooting Sports News and the lead plaintiff in a case that we're going to be discussing. Ronda Kennedy is a practicing lawyer in Ventura County, as well as the dean of a California law school. She's the Republican nominee for the U.S. House District 26 in California. So I want to welcome you both. And I want to talk about this lawsuit that was filed. And Ronda, from one attorney to another, I know when you draft your pleadings, you draft the pleadings to try to mitigate what's called like a motion to dismiss, because I'm sure there's immunity issues. So tell us some about the lawsuit. Tell us why the lawsuit was filed and why you think this is a viable case.
Well, the lawsuit was filed after Don McDougall contacted me and to inform me that all of the gun stores in Ventura County were ordered to be closed from the Stay Well at Home order. And they were deemed to be a non-essential business from the opinion of the County Counsel Leroy Smith. Whereas just recently, you were aware that LA County Council, their opinion was that gun stores are actually are essential businesses, and San Diego County Council, so several other counties throughout the state, has said yes, they're essential businesses. But our county, Ventura County, who is one of the most friendly, gun-friendly counties in the state, has said no, gun stores are not essential business. And I think it does. I think they violate their own order. Because the executive order listed an essential workforce as law enforcement and an essential business as private security. And the Stay Well at Home order lists essential business as those who support the essential workforce and the essential businesses. So gun stores they support essential businesses. Law enforcement, private security, they get their supplies and that from the gun stores. So I think the Ventura County Council is wrong on that.
Gotcha. Okay. And Don, tell us what happened. You were shut down, and why were you shut down, and what made you take action?
Well, nobody else was going to do this. So it's important in Second Amendment rights, if you're an individual, that we have to recognize we're all first protectors. We have to step up and do this. If we wait for the NRA or we wait for another group to do it, it can be 6 or 9 months. We're a small county. The NRA filing wouldn't have affected us because of the way the procedure went down here. Our sheriff did not want to close down the gun stores. Senior legal counsel Leroy Smith wanted to close down the gun stores, and he had it done as a health issue. So while we have support of the sheriff's department, and Gavin Newsom turned it over to the sheriffs to make that decision, we're still closed down. So the NRA's filing would not have affected what happened here in Ventura. So unless you get personally involved and you step up and take action, sometimes nothing happens. So got involved.
Gotcha. Okay. So Ronda, tell me, we're dealing with gun stores, and the fact that the right to bear arms is a constitutional issue, does that make a difference in the viability of this case? Because what if I was a restaurant owner or had a movie theater, or what if I had a business that tutors kids? Is the fact that the right to bear arms is a constitutional right, does that help this case?
Yes, well, we've seen that in Heller and McDougall that the right to bear arms is an individual right, and if the government wants to, the government can restrict that. However, I believe that strict scrutiny applies here, because if you want to infringe on an individual right, you have to have a compelling government interest. It has to be tailorly made, and it has to do it in the least restrictive way. Closing the gun stores is not the least restrictive way. That's the most restrictive way. Grocery stores, dry cleaners, abortion clinics, those types, even massage parlors, they're open because those are essential businesses, but infringing on an individual's right to bear arms is not. It's even worse than that. If you can't leave the county, the stay well at home orders that you stay in your home, and you can't leave the county unless you're traveling for an essential business. Well, with all the gun stores closed in Ventura County, you can't even leave the county and go to one of the other counties like LA County to purchase a firearm. So they've essentially have put a ban on the purchase of firearms in Ventura County.
Right. And so I think it's common knowledge that California tends to lean left, and that they don't feel as strongly about the right to bear arms as perhaps we do. So when we talk about the officials who are making these decisions, and you went through the constitutional analysis, when something is a fundamental constitutional right, strict scrutiny applies. Do these officials making these decisions, do you think they have this knowledge that they need to have before they start infringing upon constitutional rights?
No, I don't think so. I don't think they took that in account. I think they categorized gun stores in with every other business, and it's not. You don't have a fundamental right to have a grocery store, but you have a fundamental right. It's an individual right. Just like I'm a woman, the same people that close the gun stores feel that it's my individual right to be able to have an abortion. But as a woman, I can't go purchase a firearm. And that is an enumerated right in the Constitution. And I think it's absolutely ridiculous that county officials, particularly the county council, would consider these other businesses to be essential and not the one that is actually enumerated in the Constitution. And they're not budging. I think they're just anti-gun. And I think it even goes a little further than that. I think I'm the opponent of the Democrat incumbent here, and I really don't think they want to give me a win on this one. So I think that now they're playing political games with people's individual rights.
Right, and unfortunately, I think we have seen a lot of dirty politics and campaigns, and you're right, you just might be subject to that. So, you filed this in federal court. Did you ask the judge for any temporary relief pending, the outcome of this case?
Yes, I filed for a TRO, and let me tell you, when I filed the complaint, and I got the judge assignment, I was like, oh no, this is not going to be pretty. The judge that we were assigned to was appointed by Jimmy Carter. She's very liberal. And of course, I just got notice an hour ago that the TRO was denied. So we'll be moving on to the next steps from there. But and it's a shame that it takes, an action in court where just yesterday, once again, LA County reversed itself and said that gun stores are an essential business and opened them. That's LA County. That's one of the most unfriendly gun counties in the country. Yeah. New Jersey, same thing. But Ventura County is still holding on.
All right. And explain for our listeners, if you can, what a TRO is and what you are asking the court to do.
Okay. A temporary restraining order is an order from the court that enjoins them or stops the county from enforcing the stay-at-home order on gun stores and allows them to open temporarily or in the interim until a preliminary injunction hearing is heard, because those take time. There could be discovery process and then the scheduling. So this is a temporary restraining order. It's ex parte, so it happens fairly quickly. I filed it yesterday, got the order today to be able to open up those doors and allow people to buy firearms. I mean, just in our county, just yesterday, there was a couple that was attacked with a knife. The guy broke into their house and attacked them with a knife because we're letting people out of prison, but now we're not allowing individuals to buy firearms to protect themselves.
Right. Okay. All right. We're speaking with Don McDougall and Ronda Kennedy, and we're going to have to take a break. And then when we come back, I know my co-host Sharron is going to have some questions for the both of you. So we're coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios around the world and on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Net Talk America, and AM, FM 24/7. And we also catch us as part of the AUN TV network. We'll be right back shortly.
Are you a veteran and are you a homeowner? Then think Streamline and maybe save yourself a few $100s every month on your mortgage. A VA Streamline refinance. It's called a rate reduction loan because mortgage interest reduction is exactly what it does. It's just for veterans and it lowers your mortgage rate so you can save on mortgage payments every month, every year. That's a lot of money saved. And it's so easy to qualify. You don't need pay stubs, a W-2, or bank statements. You don't need a home appraisal. It's fast and easy to apply. And mortgage interest rates are very low right now. So a VA Streamline refinance makes it super easy and super affordable to take advantage of this opportunity and really cut your monthly mortgage payments. Veteran and homeowner? Call us to find out more. 888-893-7491. 888-893-7491.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next?
How do you get in front of companies or get a patent?
Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors just like you for 35 years.
And thousands of people contact them every month.
With 65 offices, you can meet with an InventHelp representative near you who will keep your idea confidential and explain their invention process step by step. InventHelp has helped over 10,000 inventors get patents. And they offer 3D animations and prototyping services to help demonstrate your idea. InventHelp's exclusive databank includes over 9,000 companies who have agreed to confidentially review new ideas, like yours.
Don't wonder what to do next. Take action right now and get the help you need from InventHelp.
InventHelp. Call today for free information.
800-880-2937. That's 800-880-2937 now.
Is your credit card debt driving you batty? We're going up! Just like your credit card fees and interest rates. To the top! With those sky-high payments! You can't forget about your debt. Always fear, the debt suckers are here!
Are your payments sucking the life out of you? Just one call to Consolidated Credit can get the debt suckers off your back. Consolidated Credit will lower your interest rates, consolidate your bills into one easy payment, and get you out of debt fast. Call Consolidated Credit and get your life back.
Call 1-800-201-8213. 1-800-201-8213. That's 1-800-201-8213. 1-800-201-8213.
When debt is the problem, Consolidated Credit is the solution.
Because debt sucks!
Attention Viagra and Cialis users. Are prescription drugstore prices too costly? Get 50 generic pills for only $99. That's right, 50 100 milligram generic Viagra for only $99. Our products have the same active ingredients as the brand name products. Money back guaranteed if you're 100% not satisfied. Get 50 generic pills for only $99. Order now and call the number on your screen. Have your credit card ready.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Sharron Angle with my co-host, Melissa Isaacs. And if you would like to hear a rebroadcast of our show, please check out our website, ccrshow.com, ccrshow.com. And of course, it's the whole thing there, not just the radio broadcast, but also the television broadcast, which, of course, we're now in Northern California on the AUN TV network. We've been talking with our guests, Don McDougall and Ronda Kennedy. Don is an NRA instructor and a member of Los Padres Friends of the NRA committee. Ronda is a practicing attorney in Ventura County, as well as the dean of a California law school. I want to direct this one to Dawn first. Dawn, is this your first time fighting with California over Second Amendment rights? Because it seems like they take any excuse to attack this right.
California is very unique. We have a growing and active firearms community in the state. And we also have a set of what anybody outside the state thinks are completely bizarre restrictions and requirements. This is one of those scenarios where you look at it and they're closing down the gun stores, and it's like, so you have to do something. And yes, it's my first time. So I contacted Ronda, and we're doing this on our own right now. And yes, it's the first shot of doing it.
Oh, well, I guess I want to know now, how committed are you? Because it sounds like they're not going to give up without a fight. They're not going to give you a TRO. They're not going to give you anything that would signal a win for your side. So how committed are you to getting this done, to freeing up California to be a constitutional state once again?
Well, we already have one politician who is saying crime is down. And crime is down because gun stores are closed. Therefore, maybe we should restrict the number of gun stores in the area. We have a local city in Ventura that has said there'll not be another gun store put in place in that city because they're banning any more gun stores or expansion. So for a very gun-friendly county, we have a small group of activist anti-gun people who make the city of Los Angeles look like Wyoming or Montana. So there's a whole beginning group of us, of people who are more or less moderate, didn't get too involved in politics, that are now realizing the only way to actually preserve our rights is for us to personally get involved in what's going on. One of the local gun stores will be running for city council. You'll have a ton of support. And instead of just not getting involved and kind of watching it slide off farther to the left, we've decided to stop it.
Good for you. I'm wondering, has anyone taken any notice of you? I'm speaking specifically of people like Gun Owners of America or the NRA. There's gun groups out there. We pay dues. We send money to fight these kinds of causes. Has anybody said, Dawn, I want to help you with this?
I reached out to GOA this afternoon, and I reached out to the Second Amendment Foundation. But when the NRA put their filing in place, the way they wrote it completely excluded Ventura County. Not because they were bad people, because it's the NRA, they're pretty good folks, but because they didn't understand that our situation was different from everybody else. So there are only 2 counties that have complete bans of gun stores, and that's San Jose and Ventura. The other one, of course, would be San Francisco, but there are no gun stores in San Francisco. So we only have 2 counties. There's only, I believe, 4 states that have done anything along these lines. We're markedly in the minority at a national level. Even the state of New Jersey allows gun stores to stay open. So our concern is that this creates a precedent. And the argument being made by legal counsel here for the county is that it's a safety issue. Well, if they're allowed to close gun stores for a safety issue, and they succeed here, they can push this nationwide.
Well, let's talk about that safety issue a little bit. We get a lot of folks from California coming into Nevada to use their Second Amendment right to buy firearms here and ammunition here. In fact, we can't hardly keep it in stock because they come here to get it. And the way they've kind of mitigated it is they've just put out on the sidewalk, you stand here, and 6 feet later, the next customer stands over here. So let's talk about, what do they think the health concern is that they can't keep the gun stores from being overcrowded in California?
There's 2 issues. They saw the picture of Martin B. Redding with people lined out outside the first day this was announced, and they all freaked out because they assumed that every gun store in the state was like that. all of the gun stores here that are open, the ones that are open, have strict limits on the number of people coming inside and a 6-foot limit for people outside so it's controlled. My concern is they're claiming that the current drop of crime is because gun stores were closed, and that they'll use that as a second issue to push closing stores nationwide.
It couldn't be that criminals are afraid of the coronavirus as well, and they put their stay in place as well.
No, I think you have to remember the base core of liberal democratic anti-gunism, and that is that guns cause crime and guns are bad. And since they start with that as a premise, anything that reduces that number or holds it must be heaven sent. So they don't understand how this works. They don't understand the sociology and how it works with populations behind it. The result is they draw faulty conclusions.
All right. So we see this coming. At least we do in Nevada. Anything you do in California, we're bound to have come right across that state line and hit us in the next legislative session. So how did you find
California to control your legislation? So, that's why it happens.
Well, I want to know how you found this great attorney. How did you come to hire Ronda Kennedy and not someone else? What made Ronda Kennedy your choice?
Well, I've known Ronda for a little while, and I helped a little bit with her a campaign she had to run for the state assembly. But Ronda is unique. She understands the Constitution. She's a bit of a constitutional specialist. She has a contact and has done a little bit of work with GAO. So I have an attorney who understands the core root of the Constitution, and as such, they understand the importance of the Second Amendment. That's a rarity these days, and that makes her the right person to work with.
Well, now I want you to tell our listeners how they can friend you, follow you, make contact with you, Don McDougall.
Okay. On Facebook, 805 Gun Owners.
805 Gun Owners. Now, Ronda, I want you to talk briefly about your campaign. You're running for Congress, and tell us how we can friend you, follow you, donate to you, help you with this campaign.
Well, you can start by get information about me on my website. It's rondakennedy.com. That's Ronda with no H, Kennedy.com. And also my Twitter handle is Ronda, the number 4 Congress. And I need all the support I can get for my congressional run against Julia Brownlee, who is anti-gun. She's on the complete opposite of this. She's been silent on this matter. And she could actually step up and have an opinion and to the county council to reinstore our Second Amendment rights here in Ventura County.
But she won't.
But she won't, of course not. She's completely anti-gun.
Well, tell us again how we can find you, friend you, follow you, donate to you.
RondaKennedy.com, Ronda with no H.com. And my Twitter handle is Ronda, the number 4 Congress. Ronda, the number 4 Congress.
We're so happy that you joined us here on the Conservative Commandos radio show, Don McDougall and Ronda Kennedy. Take care, and God bless you both.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
We are coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios and around the world on the internet, TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Net Talk America, and AM FM 24/7. I'm Sharron Angle. My co-host is Melissa Isaacs, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America, and get this. Did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
Melissa, we've had a great show today. Would you tell our listeners how they can friend you, follow you, get in contact with you?
Yeah, well, I'm on Facebook, just Melissa Isaak, or you can follow my firm's Facebook page. It's actually Protecting Men, and when we're on Facebook, and we do good things trying to, preserve everybody's rights. So that's how they can find me.
And would you thank our guests?
Absolutely. We had some great guests today. I'd like to thank Gretchen Smithl, and she's with Code of Vets, doing wonderful things for veterans. It's absolutely amazing. And Dr. Gavin Clarkson has an interesting and legal way on how we can make China pay for the coronavirus, for actually not being very candid with us about the coronavirus. And I want to thank Don McDougall and Ronda Kennedy. And we have a guy who owns a gun store, and a really, really brave attorney who's taken on the state of California and saying, look, you can't just deem us non-essential and shut us down. And it's a constitutional right, and there's a certain process that the state has to follow, and they haven't done that. So we had some really great guests today. I want to thank all of them for coming on.
We sure did. And they are the hallmark of our show. I'm Sharron Angle. You can follow me at SharronAngle.com, simply SharronAngle.com. But for right now, we got to run. We got to go. Take care. God bless. And we'll see you tomorrow on TV and on radio.
Do you know what constitutes our Constitution? This living document that's a fusion of our forefathers' vision for the future of this nation? We have a Bill of Rights. We're not built for these rights, but we've been given these rights because we live. We don't have to pay every day when we don't watch what we say. A penny for our thoughts is not what we give, but we give off our thoughts by the way that we live. And there are soldiers who've died, men and women who've paid the price, in the blink of an eye given their lives to make our lives nice. And we can't fight to preserve these rights, to reach new heights, get through the darkest nights together if we don't know. We the people, we the future, can't make it right if we don't show an interest in learning the script that governs our lives. So forgive me if I'm wrong, but if you belong to this country, then there are rights that belong to you so long as you do one thing. You know your Constitution and your freedom that it brings. You can't fight for what's right. You can't find a flaw if you've never shed light on the supreme law of the land. The land of the free and the home of the brave requires your knowledge and God's good grace in order to save our human race in the face of terror. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you need to choose what you're going to do because you could lose everything.
If you had something that you were given, something you loved, something that others wanted so badly but were denied it, something that you used and relied on every single day. If you had something special, something beautiful, something powerful, if you had something absolutely essential to securing your health, happiness, and safety, if you treasured something so much that you were willing to die for that something, if you knew that others already had, and if someone had given you a document that protected that something, wouldn't you take the time to read it?
Hey you! Stop and listen. This is a public service announcement with Dakari Chapman. Why should you know your Constitution and why should you know your rights as a U.S. citizen? How would you like it if someone didn't allow your club to meet at your house? I wouldn't, because that's not cool. How would you like to be tried without a jury? I wouldn't, because that's not cool. These things are not cool. Learn your rights as a U.S. citizen so you know what to do in these situations. Thanks for listening, and remember, it's an American thing, so learn it.